Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Against the Public for Tuesday, March 12th. We're the only show to analyze early betting patterns by the public, and we've done that again with 3 more free NBA plays for Tuesday. And before I get to those free plays, don't forget I will have my NBA 3-pack locked and loaded a few minutes after the show, so make sure you get involved. Just waiting on one more result. Looks like another winning 3-pack in the NBA tonight, so very excited about that. Please make sure, if you didn't get involved last night, make sure you get involved tonight. And of course, every 3-pack, whether it's the NBA, college basketball, NHL, Major League Baseball coming up, every 3-pack, $49.99, and that always comes with our Pick Dawgz win guarantee that states you must profit or receive an immediate site credit for the purchase price. In addition, don't want to mess with any of the 3-packs or the individual games? Great. Buy one of my popular all-access passes that will give you every selection without fail every single day, whether it's in college basketball, NBA, NHL, and the upcoming Major League Baseball season. You get every one of my plays that I release for one low price. And if you want just further proof of how low those prices are over the next 30 days, you can get a pass for just $11 a day. The 90-day pass is less than $10 a day, and my annual all-access pass is just $3.56 a day. And sure, you will never miss another best bet winner from any sport again. If you're not an all-access customer right now, here's why you can't let another day go by without doing so. In the NBA this year, guys, all access members have profited 1,171 units. In college basketball, all access members have crushed 1,069 units. 55% college basketball winners over the last 30 days. I'm still the #1 overall handicapper on Pick Dawgz with at least 500 plays. So make sure you do get involved. And when you're choosing a capper for your bankroll, it never matters about the hype. We'll talk about that in a little bit. It only matters what your record says you are. And so far, so good in 2024. It is certainly serious. It is time to get serious about your March bankroll in a month that we have 31 full days, and we're going to make this one of our best months of the entire year, because I love these months that have 31 days in it. So we get a good solid month, unlike last month, which was phenomenal. But we just are going to add to our annual units won so far. So let's get to our free plays for Tuesday, 7:30 Eastern Time, game 545, 546, Philadelphia 76ers versus the New York Knicks. Knicks -5 and 211. And we know why this total is where it is, and simply because of the pace of play, where the Knicks have the slowest pace of play in the NBA with 99.1 possessions per game. And that number even gets worse when they're playing at Madison Square Garden with 97.9 possessions per game, which is also last in the NBA. That was on full display in their first game, which was a couple nights ago. This is game 2 of the series in New York. 76ers beat New York 79-73 when these two teams combined for 30 points in the first quarter. This is the second time in 2 games that the Sixers were held to less than 95 points, and they lost to the Pelicans by 8 in that first game at home. 3 of the last 5 games have also cashed under tickets, and we know the Knicks are 40-24 to the under this year. No reason to go over, even with a total at 211, which I was surprised it's a little bit higher than I thought it would be. I thought we'd be in that 209, 210 range. 211's fine. We're going to go under that total. Game number 2, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 547, 548, Washington Wizards -1.5, 217.5 at the Memphis Grizzlies. Speaking of pace of play, the Washington Wizards are #1 in the NBA at something. #1 in the NBA at possessions per game with 106.3. But when you shoot 47% from the floor and 76.7% from the free throw line, you tend to go under, as the Wizards do and have in 2023-24. I just think I envision this game being one of those wild 250-point games that Washington gets involved in once in a while. Both teams are probably looking at padding some stats, which means It is going to be an up and down affair, probably a really sloppy game, but definitely pace of play would lend itself to go over the total. This number looks like a trap to me, with both of these teams leaning a little bit under this season. It's in recent form, in this season and in recent form, but these two haven't met since early in the season when Jordan Poole still cared. He and Kyle Kuzma, they combined to shoot 17 of 46. They still got 113 points in that game. I'm going to take the over in the return visit. And just talking about this number real quick, it does look like a little bit of a trap because of how bad Washington is offensively. But, man, we've really seen them put up some poor defensive numbers this season. Not of late, not too bad, but 4 or 5 games ago, they had a couple games in a row where they really put up some of those, bad games where they give up 130, 135 points a game. And I know that, look, there's not a lot of offensive firepower to choose from here, but we're not talking about a big total. And I just think, and it's not going to be because we're going to be looking at field goal percentages that are, neither one of these teams are going to shoot, 50% from the field. We're just looking at, again, going to pace of play. And if we can get Washington and Memphis in that 47-48 range, this will go over the total. And like I said before, I think we're going to have a very high-scoring game if they can shoot their free throws, which has been quite the chore for both teams. Game number 3, Indiana Pacers versus the OKC Thunder. 8 o'clock Eastern time is your start. OKC minus 6.5, 238.5. These are games that the Indiana Pacers need to start winning. I have OKC as my top team. I know, going out on a limb in the Western Conference, while the Pacers are 6th in the East in my latest power rankings. And the difference between these two were simply this. The Pacers are just 12-12 against top 10 teams, or 17-16 against the upper echelon of teams, according to my power rankings. And OKC has been absolutely mowing down the top 10 teams. They're 14-5 against top 10 teams. They're 22-12 against upper echelon teams, meaning the upper half of the NBA. Pacers been a reliable wager for most of the season. They had a pretty impressive win against Orlando on their short 2-game to start their short 2-game road trip. They held the Magic to under 40% from the floor, which was the second time in 2 games that the Magic have failed to shoot at least 40% from the floor. We may get the Thunder here overlooking the Pacers. They have a date with the Mavericks next. I think 6.5 is a little bit too much. I'm going to take Indiana plus 6.5 as your third free game. So that does it for our free plays for Tuesday. Go to pickdawgz.com. Get involved with one of my many available packages, including my all-access pass that will give you every play tomorrow, whether it's the NBA, college basketball, NHL. You get every one of those plays for one low price. And remember, my 3-packs in each one of those sports will also be up. $49.99 gives you each one of those 3-packs, and it comes with our Pick Dawgz win guarantee. Either way, please make sure you get involved. This is going to be a massive month. Please make sure to stay disciplined and continue to add to your 2024 bankroll. Let's recap our free plays one more time. Philadelphia, New York, under 211. Washington, Memphis, over 217.5. And Indiana, plus 6.5. And one more thing that I wanted to address, and I got a note today, and I like to kind of throw this out there. It's not that big of a deal, really. But if one person thinks it, maybe other people think it. And I had somebody on the YouTube page say, well, most touts are, which people that are starting off a derogatory statement always call us touts. I'm a handicapper. I handicap sports. I think touts are more about sales than they are about winning and losing. And I am definitely more about winning and losing. Not so great on the sales part. I just kind of throw my numbers out there, and it is what it is. I think that's the greatest sales tool that you possibly could ever have. All the other fluffy stuff, it doesn't matter. But I will tell you this. He said, well, and I'm paraphrasing. He said, look, a lot of handicappers, they prey on the public because they think that the public is, he used the word naive. And so here's the thing about this. Number one, I wrote back to him and I said, look, I have never thought the public was naive. I think when I think of the betting public, and honestly, we've never been smarter. You have never been smarter. You have never have had more information at your fingertips than you do now. The betting public is as sharp as it's ever been. You just need to know how to decipher the information, which is where I come in, and a lot of the great handicappers on this website come in. And the one thing that I pointed out is, look, I understand where he's coming from, because there's a lot of guys up there that want to tell you what they've done over the last 10 games. I'm going to tell you what I've done over the last 30 years, 31 years. And so reputation is very important to me, and which I've also stated to him. And I said, look, you're not paying me because you don't know. I know something you don't know. I can take this information, I can decipher it because of my experience. I can draw from the people that I had, the contacts that I've had and made in the industry over 31 years. Not that I'm getting some inside information, but I do get a feel for teams a little bit better than somebody who has no contacts in the industry. So I've never tried to portray myself or this industry in any other light other than what it is. And so if you're reading those comments, the flip side of that to me is just, I understand where he's coming from, but that does not apply to everybody else, which is why I'm on pickdawgz.com, because every one of our plays is up there. And it's not just up there from the last 30 days. It's up there from a long time ago. So you can tell exactly where a handicapper has been over the last year. You know exactly where he's been over the last week. So every one of those numbers that we claim to have on the website is 1,000% accurate. And that to me is why I chose Pick Dawgz as my home. So I'm just throwing it out there, and I appreciate where he's coming from, but believe me, when he said to me that, hey, I've been on both sides of the counter, I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you have been on both sides of the counter, because there are some people on the other side of the counter that do not want players who have handicappers as somebody to lean on, and that's been a thing with some of the hotels that are downtown right now. So we're doing something, otherwise that would never come out. So I appreciate everybody that has put their trust and their money behind me. It's going to be an absolute great 2024. So stick with it and stay disciplined. And thank you so much for watching the show. For Against the Public, I'm Dana Lane. Let's crush them all week. And one more programming note, guys. I just wanted to let you know that we're going to have one more show tomorrow, and then no more shows until I get back on Monday. We're going back on the road again. So just want to let you know that. Of course, all my plays will still be up on Pick Dawgz, but just always wanted to kind of tell you about that. So thank you so much for joining me, and let's crush them all week. Have a great night.